Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about office politics. So let's get into it. So the question in question was posted on a video I made, which is called "Is it 10 times easier for a FANG programmer to work in other companies?" And I suppose I must have mentioned office politics in that specific video because the question was office politics. This is the first time I'm hearing this term from you. Is this a thing in Europe or not? I would like to know more about the region. Uh, Office politics is a term everywhere, my friend. You can remove the office and there you got politics. The office is only latched onto there because most of us software developers work in an office. But it's the same damn phenomenon you'll find everywhere. You will find it in your extended family, you will find it at a small football club, you will find it in your grocery store, you will find it in the government, everywhere. And anywhere there are more than a few people who have different perspectives on how to do things and different levels, as I like to say, different character, ethics, well, character and ethics, you could probably combine those two, and intelligence level. And wisdom, depending on how you want to. Well, we can just call that intelligence. So intelligence and character is going there. That's where you're going to find politics. It's funny because I have this thing that I like to say where office politics is almost never necessary when you have a group of people who are about as intelligent, about the same type of care, have the same ethics and morality, and like they're really interested in doing a good job, and trust between those people. Then politics is pretty much pointless because for some reason they always just seem to agree with each other. It's a phenomenon that, I mean, I've never had a problem with politics usually when I work with other software developers of about the same level of skill and so forth. We just seem to get along and just seem to figure out that, yeah, this is probably the way to do it. But on average, that's not how it's going to work. And this is where those soft skills come in. Them soft skills I've been talking to you about, you see, those soft skills, they are damn important now when you're dealing with office politics. And it's not just the soft skills. Here it's a lot of personal maturity. And I think it's actually a little bit interesting because this is or it has historically been my number one frustration with working as a software developer. And I think that a lot of the developers can relate to this because a lot of the time, you know, those popular opinions we have where management is responsible for all bad code in the world. Now, I don't believe that, but a lot of developers do feel like that is the case. They usually blame this exact thing in different ways because office politics is the thing that leads to short deadlines and to bad software being forced out the door and things like that. The reason why that happens is mostly because the product manager or the PO or whoever doesn't want to look bad because things take longer than he or she said in their estimation or whatever their idea of is when something should be done. And that brings us back to my favorite saying, which is the problem is what the problem is. And usually what happens when a real senior software developer tells a PO that is inexperienced, immature, or as I said, under duress from office politics, that it gives them an estimate or like an answer that they don't want is one of two things. Now, and this is where the intelligence and character comes in. Either that person is a mature individual who understands that we cannot change reality, or that person tries to force the answer that they want because they are in a position of influence, and that's where the politics really comes in. Because this person is usually an individual who has influence over the development process or the developers, which means that that person is going to try to negotiate forward and try to find loopholes in the argument of the software developer, or try to find some way of making reality what they want. In other words, they're going to try to force you to write bad code because that's usually the thing that they care about, delivery speed. And it really comes down to that exact thing. It comes down to usually that the PO in turn has a deadline or some personal ambitions. It can be everything from, and this is the maturity as well, personal maturity, because it might be that they're doing the same thing as the juniors are doing. And I've seen that 100 times with the POs as well, where an inexperienced PO has some expectations on them from their manager, and there's no like reason why they're trying to force a quick resolution to whatever they're working on. It's just that they want to impress somebody else in turn. So they put you under pressure because they want to look good in front of their manager. And that's, as I said, this is the politics. You're not mature enough and strong enough as an individual to just do the right thing. You have external influences and forces hindering your ability to just work in an ethical and efficient way. And that's why you have these consultancies who come in and like sell really half-baked shitty solutions to companies, and like with the more or less the ambition to hook that company for life on their solution, even though it's a bad solution. Everybody in the team knows it's a bad solution, but we don't warn people about that. And then we have like really big corporations who try to, they deal under the table, etc. So all of this stuff comes from that same thing. You have people of varying intelligence levels and varying levels of ethics. And the thing that I think is funny about this is that, as I said, this is the thing that I have struggled with the most because when I started, I really did believe that that software development was different, like that engineering was different, because it's such a quote-unquote pure field where you're just building stuff, right? You're just trying to build really nice stuff. And little did I know that there is so much corruption and anxieties and stress in just building stuff. Because that's not the building that is problematic, it's all the people around the thing you're building, and all the noise and chaos leading up to the delivery that is the problem. It's not the actual software development. I mean, today, honest to God, it's almost therapeutic for me to just sit, work on a story without having to sit in 100 meetings with different people who are like just either trying to figure out how IT works, or trying to get me to give them an answer to something where I've already given an answer. They know what the answer is, but they want a different answer, so they check again. To just be able to sit and write test-driven development type of code by myself, with a little bit of coffee, it's healing for the soul. And you will get here too as well, my friends, sooner or later. And then you're going to go and join a startup and realize that it's sort of the same thing. It's just that you can now pick your own tools. So what I want you to take away from this is that office politics is a thing everywhere, and it is the main reason why you write legacy code that is not within your own responsibility, because unfortunately for developers, or rather unfortunately we have to, at the very least, I think, take responsibility for the other half. One half is that you have a PO or like managers or so forth that wants reality to be something that it's not, where they want to ship really fast, or they want to ship something that is very advanced but it takes too long, and then they're going to try to negotiate with you, because that's how business people work usually. And then depending on how stable you are, you're going to fold and the system is going to start rotting. The other part is that you make it rot because you think that you're a genius when you're not a genius. And all of those soft skills I've been talking about, they lead you up towards being able to survive in these sorts of environments. And trust me, guys, office politics is just not a big corporation thing. It is a everywhere thing. Every single company that you go to has the potential for office politics, because it comes down to people. If you have people who are either stupid, uninformed, or want to act in an unethical way, and nervous dispositions, etc., etc., it's all down to the people that you're dealing with. You can have office politics in a group of 3 people, And at the bar, it really comes down to that, because as soon as people feel that they need to adjust to some other individual who is either too ignorant or too uninformed to see reality for what it is, that's when the politics start. You try to find a way to coexist, basically, or to make everybody happy, which is not always possible. So somebody's going to have to fold. And unfortunately for you, that's usually the software developer. Have a great day.